Would I ever work at a theme park again? Well, that's complicated. I get asked a lot. Would I love to work at a theme park again? What jobs would I love to do? Will I ever go back? Will I go back to Silver Dollar City? Would I love to go back to Walt Disney World? And the answer is a little more complicated than just a yes or a no. Would I love to go back? There's a part of me that definitely would like to. I had a blast working at the parks. I really enjoyed my time and would love to have that much fun again. They were fun jobs. They were always different. They were always new. You always had something entertaining going on. And I loved, absolutely loved that part of it. But there are a lot of things going on now that would make it very difficult. Uh, so let me just kind of run through this list of deals of why I probably would never go back to a park. Um, One, I wouldn't go back to Florida. I love Florida. Florida was an amazing state to live in, but I don't miss the heat all the time. I like having seasons. Uh, Having an actual winter and a real fall is amazing, and being able to swim in the creeks and the lakes here and not having to worry about gators and mosquitoes and the swamp diseases and all that kind of stuff. Florida was a great state, but it's not an easy state to live in. It's also expensive, and so for all those reasons, I don't really want to go back to Florida. California has its own set of issues, in particular, even more expensive than Florida, and there's a number of other things. So right off the bat, I don't want to live in the states that the Disney parks are in. So you kind of run into that. That kind of kills them quickly. Um, there's also the deal right now that in the last few years, our society has become very rude, very mean spirited, uh, very crass, very non appreciative of the workers. And you see this at theme parks, you see it on airplanes, the way they treat the flight crews, you see it at restaurants, the way they treat the servers, and various other places. And, teaching, oh goodness, my wife gets more crud now. And it makes it very hard for me to want to go out and say, hey, I'm here, abuse me. It's one of the reasons I keep constantly speaking about be kind to people around you, be nice, show appreciation, because right now so many of them are getting treated so horribly on a regular basis. So there's definitely a part of me that doesn't want to do that, and I have to be honest, as a pastor, as a minister, there are times that it's very difficult for me, even there, because we have people that come in and you better do it my way, and it's kind of like we do the best we can. It it's why if I go on an airplane, when I do fly, I make sure I treat everybody who's working so nice and appreciative and thank them a bunch, because I know they get a lot of junk right now. Uh, I don't know that I'd want to put up with that. When I worked, it used to be, 97, 98, 99% of the guests were wonderful and fantastic and appreciative. And from what I'm hearing from my friends, that number has gone to more like a 70-30. 70% are great, but you've got a much larger percentage of guests now that are not nice and much louder about not being nice. And especially when it comes to enforcing things that they don't have a choice on. They're not the ones that decide masks or not, or vaccines or not, and things like that. And I don't know. I would have a very hard time putting up with that, not telling people what I thought when they acted like jerks, which wouldn't be a good thing. So the atmosphere right now is not good. With the other jobs I do, I need a lot of flexibility with my schedule, and that's something that doesn't work real well working at a theme park. They're long hours, they're steady hours. That would make it difficult as well. Uh, and then the other thing that becomes a potential issue is what's called a conflict of interest. Because I do the videos and I intend to keep doing the videos, I would run into this deal where working at the park, I could almost be perceived as a park spokesperson, which then could make it very difficult for me to do some of the videos I do. You know, you can't really talk about silly guest stories when they're people you just saw and you're representing the park, and then all of a sudden they get offended and ticked off, and how dare you, and they complain to the park, and it causes issues. Uh, Also sharing some of the behind the scenes stories. I don't share anything that would violate a non disclosure agreement. I am very careful about that. The things that you think I might have been along that lines are things that the parks themselves have talked about and released and given information on. So it's not anything that I'm sharing that would break any sort of news agreements there. But it would do this, it would create this deal that I could even be perceived as profiting on the side using my job as a basis for it. It just creates a number of issues there. And it would be, then of course, then there's the issue of if I'm telling stories about the place I'm working right now, can that place actually claim ownership? And I have actually seen some disputes that way. So it creates an interesting situation. All that said, I actually have talked a little bit with a couple people at Silver Dollar City about possibly going back a day or two a week if we had transportation and time and things worked out. I don't know that it will ever happen because of the issues I mentioned, and trying to work through those. And I would have to have freedom to do my videos and to own them and do what I would like with them. And I think that would probably cause a host of issues. I don't know that the park would agree to that. So that would be a problem. And then the other issue becomes my health. In the last few years, since my heart was diagnosed and since COVID came out and we got lots more time, I am not in as good a health condition as I used to be. And part of it I can work back out of, but part of it is going to be a lifelong deal I just have to deal with. I'm no longer allowed to do major strenuous stuff, heavy lifting, things that would, hard workouts, stuff like that. I'm not allowed to do anymore. Simple stuff like shoveling snow, that's a no because of the strain it could put on my heart. As my doctor put it, he said, adrenaline's good, stress and heavy workout, bad. Okay, so my exercise routine has to be light, which means I can't do anything that would be, a lot of strenuous work. It would make something like working on a roller coaster, for example, possibly not able to work because of the bending over, the checking the restraints, and just the type of workload it is, it may or may not be okay. And so it would limit what I could do that way as well. It doesn't mean there's not things at a park I can't do, but it would be limiting. With all of that considered, and the fact I love doing the videos that I do right now, I love the freedom to travel, I love the freedom to be able to go out and do stuff, I don't anticipate ever actually working for a park again, or at one. I kind of like what I'm doing. So that's probably where I'll be. So that's kind of a long answer to a question that could probably be answered shortly as, nope, not likely. If you've got other questions like that or things, please let me know in the comments too. Also, thanks so much for watching this video. I know it's not quite what I normally would be doing. I'm still in the process of balancing my lights and my sound here in the new place. I actually had a whole other video filmed, and the sound was not working. So I have been working on rebalancing things. So this is one that I have to admit I did put together kind of quickly before I go out of town here for a couple more things. But I hope you enjoyed it. Would love your feedback, would love your suggestions. Do you have other questions that you would like for me to answer? Either leave them in the comments below, or if you look below, there's a link to my ideas boards, and you can post them there as well. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much to my supporters, my members, the ones who pay to help make this possible, because they allow me to keep doing this and even more. And there is some amazing stuff coming up in this next year because of them. So thank you so much. Again, if you want to know more about them and the perks that come with it, including behind the scenes on this setup and a close-up look, check the links below. Thank you so incredibly much for watching. God bless. I would have to have a deal where, okay, I've got freedom to do my videos, and I would have to have a deal where I have freedom to do my videos and do them the way I want to, and that would be a little problematic. I'm sure. Oh my gosh, I keep hitting my microphone stand. So, if you... Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to know about contact information, fan pages, merchandise, and more, please be sure to check the description below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to know when I have new ones, well, make sure you hit that subscribe button right up there. And if you want to see another one of my videos, well, I've got a great one for you right here. And a huge thank you to these wonderful people here who support me on Patreon and with YouTube memberships. They get behind the scenes information, special perks, and more. If you'd like to know more about that, well, make sure you check that button right there. Thank you so much.